Director and star. I promise you something good. Self-styled scream queen. Was that fun being covered in all those things, or was it a perk or a curse?
I know some people don't like it, but I do. It was super fun, like, to be in the world of Mother's Room and all the slime and blood and all that stuff. I really enjoyed it.
Cool. You've done various different little bits because, acting, right? What was it like working with?
It was awesome. We shot in Chicago in the States, and like it just showed what a talented, resourceful, and like ultimately super kind group of artists that we have working both in front of and behind the camera in Chicago, and it was just like the best experience ever. Like when we premiered in LA, so many people flew out from Chicago just to see it, and it's just like a testament to the group that we worked with.
I think horror at its heart is making the mundane surreal, which you do really well, but you also manage to find the horror in the disturbingness in the mundane. Like, it's not awful because there's this cosmic entity, although that is awful. It's also awful because of office culture. And is that the story you want to tell? Is that just a byproduct? Like, are you wanting to tell a story about, like, work sucks? Are you wanting to tell a story that, like, this cosmic entity is terrible and that's a fun thing to do, and it's a bit of a coincidence?
Well, I really like how you introduced that question. I really do think that my favorite art is the art that makes the familiar feel strange, and I think that's why a lot of us make art, because we are all swimming in this culture that, like, oh, this is weird when you step back and reflect on it, and I feel like the cosmic horror entity, the sentient Scobie, ended up being the best vehicle to send that message across, right? Because, I mean, Scobie at its core does chemically and biologically change whatever it's swimming in.
I think one of the reasons it works so well is because cosmic horror is about the indifference of the entity, and the corporate structure is equally indifferent, right?
Right.
How difficult was it casting your main roles and getting that concept into your actors' heads of, it's not you're waiting for the horror to happen, it's all horror?
Yeah. Casting was, well, when I cast, I really like to start off with comedic actors. I think that we have some amazing comedic actors in Chicago. There's a company called The Second City, and we went to them as a resource, and then doing reads with Paige and Terrence. I just knew, I was like, oh, Paige is right for this role. And I feel like they understand existential dread really well. Comedic actors do. And the thing that I said on day one to all of my actors was, we are going to step on anxiety. That is going to be the emotion that we are going to lean in the most. And it's going to make people do one of two things. It's going to make them squirm, or they're going to nervously laugh. And I think having both of those things it was the way that I felt like we pulled off a comedy horror. Because sometimes you can do one or the other, you can exhaust an audience. Another thing that I did say from the get was no winking, right? Like, at almost every band set, like, no winking. Like, yes, the story is absurd at its core, but we all need to take it very seriously. And if we try to, like, tell the audience, hey, we're joking here, I don't think the horror would land as well, or the comedy for that matter.
I think it helps that you have almost the insert character of the mother of the lady from the first kill. It's like, it's vampires, bro.
Yeah.
Was there an element when you were developing the creature that you're like, oh, this could be a vampire, or this could be something else? So you set on cosmic horror, and that is a deliberate red herring?
I think we were set on cosmic horror, and I think the vampire thing was something that actually got birthed a little bit later in the story, because initially we had Molotov cocktails, and at the budget that we were working with, Molotov cocktails inside an office building just wasn't going to happen. So we actually looked into it, and when I was reading through Reddit, you cannot make garlic kombucha because people would try. Because as you said on screen, garlic kills bacteria and yeast. So what people do is they brew the kombucha first and they put the garlic in later. And I don't know why anyone would want to drink that.
I mean, I've tried kombucha, so I don't know how to drink that anyways. I got convinced by Morland Spurlock. I'm going off on a tangent. Shall we hear from the fan base?
Say it again?
Shall we hear from the fan
Oh
base?
yeah, of course.
Anyone with a question?
There was a lot in that film was very familiar to me as a struggling comics writer for the last 20 odd years. So my question is, how many shitty corporate jobs have you worked and how did you escape?
Enough.
Yeah, like, do we have the time to get into it? But I just want to mention too, like, the audition scene that I was sent was Luke and Elisa's like breakup scene from the beginning of the movie, and like, I understood their whole dynamic immediately because I've had almost the same conversation, like in my own personal life, of like, yes, I have these intangible creative dreams and desires, but like, I have also even more tangible bills to pay at the end of the day, and so like, this really tapped into the horror of like, how much of myself am I willing to sell and give up to a corporate job so that I can continue to fund the dreams I would much rather be pursuing.
Fair. Totally fair. I think we've got time for one more. Gentleman on the way.
I was just wondering, is it difficult to, you were sort of mentioned it has to be played completely straight, but was it difficult to stay completely straight? Or were you trying to get that?
It was, and because I'm working with all these like Second City comedic actors, but I mean, Jake did such a good job at like helping to convey the tone and the environment, so we've always understood like what the stakes were, and like especially when horror was the focus, like that's what we were tuning into.
Also, thank you. If you guys are willing, we can do a little signing outside, and if you've got any more questions that you don't want to share with everyone, would you mind taking them at the desk?
Sounds great.
Awesome, thank you. Just before you all dive off, the markets are about to close, so after the signing, please, if there's anything you've had around, go and snap that up, it's your last chance. But sadly, the Grimfest kombucha has not sold. Thank you very much.